We will give you a specific question, a simple question from math, and tell you how it should be taught and how it is taught. And you will realize why math phobia is so common among students. We will give you one specific math question and solve it in two different ways. The way in which it is taught in schools and the way in which it should be taught. We will give you the wrong pedagogy and the right pedagogy. So math phobia is a lie. Math seems difficult. It is not difficult, not because a student is dull, but because you have been teaching it the wrong way. And we will show you with one specific example, and this will also give you how to make math stress-free. You can see a frightening number of formulas and equations students are asked to memorize, and what we have given is only a small part. It is just from 3 or 4 chapters. Just from 3 or 4 chapters, the student is asked to memorize such a huge number of formulas. Then the total math book will contain about 300 to 400 formulas, meaningless, worthless formulas, which the student is asked to memorize. That is not education, that is torture. And even the biggest challenge, not only memorizing, the biggest challenge is out of that 3,000 formulas, 5,000 formulas, 10,000 formulas, you have to recall one specific formula in the exam hall, and already the exam hall is a place of stress. So in the stressful condition, when the student is in exam hall, he has to recall one specific formula out of the hundreds and thousands of formulas he had memorized. And this is only for math. Then there is physics. Then there is chemistry. So, in all, a student may be learning more than 1,000 formulas. Say about 1,500 formulas for a 15-year-old student. The student's age is 15 and he has to memorize 1,500 formulas and recall one specific formula in the exam hall in that condition of stress. So this is the reason for math phobia. It's not the question of intelligence. It's a question that we are fragmenting in the name of structuring. We are confusing in the name of organizing. We are stressing on memorizing rather than core concept visualization. So how understanding the core concept, or rather visualizing the core concept, can drastically reduce by 90% the number of formulas they have to learn. 90% of the formulas can be dispensed with if we focus on the core concept, and we will give you one specific example to prove that. So here we have a specific question, and we will show you how it is taught in schools and how it should be taught. A dishonest trader sells his goods at cost price but uses a fraudulent weighing machine to cheat customers by 20% to find his gain percent. A very common question in classes 7 and 8 or even in 9 and 10. It's quite common. And this is very easy. But the way you teach the student takes 5 minutes. And the way in which we will show you, it will take only 5 seconds. All the worthless formulas, CP, SP, CP minus SP, gain, buy, CP into 100%. Then before that, let the price of 1 kg be so much. So 20% means the price of 800 grams. Then the gain. So you don't need any of these things. Without all this useless rigmarole, all this beating about the bush, without any formula, we can solve it in 5 seconds. And that is what we should be teaching. But we are teaching useless, worthless formulas, and the students are getting confused. And even if they solve, they are taking 5 minutes, whereas the actual time should be 5 seconds. Why they are taking so much time and why they are getting confused? Because of these formulas. Because of these formulas, here 15 formulas are given. So out of 15 formulas, they have to recall one formula and apply. It is like searching for a needle in a haystack. In this chapter, there are 15. The total book contains 1500 formulas, out of which you have to pick out one particular formula, and it is like searching for a needle in a haystack. That's what is confusing the student. So how can we do it without this absolutely confusing situation, without the student having to search for a needle in a haystack? How can we make it easier, simpler, and the entire education stress-free? Here we have shown symbolically what every student knows. They have gone to shops with their parents, they have purchased goods, and they have paid money, so they know that. Shopkeeper gives goods and the customer gives money. So gain is what you get minus what you give. If you are getting more, profit. If you are giving more, loss. That they know. This is something obvious. You don't have to memorize. If you get more, profit. If you give more, loss. So the shopkeeper's gain would be what he receives minus what he gives. What the shopkeeper receives minus what the shopkeeper gives, that is the shopkeeper's gain. Although the shopkeeper is giving goods and receiving cash, but the value the shopkeeper gives and the value he receives, if he receives more, it is his profit. So in terms of value, it may be goods, it may be cash. What the shopkeeper receives minus what the shopkeeper gives is his gain. And this they don't have to memorize. This is what we call visualization. This is something ingrained in every person's mind. You don't have to memorize, you know that. Then whatever you are giving and whatever you are getting, the difference is what we call profit or loss. So here the shopkeeper is giving 80% of what he should give. It may be rice or sugar or whatever it is. He is giving 80% of what he should give. And the customer is paying 100% of the value. So shopkeeper is giving 80% and the shopkeeper is receiving 100%. It may be in terms of cash or maybe in terms of goods, but we are talking of the value. 80% value shopkeeper to customer and 100% of value customer to shopkeeper. So if the shopkeeper gives 80% and the shopkeeper receives 100%, then the gain is 20%. What he gets minus what he gives. So the shopkeeper gains 20% on the actual sale of 80%. He has actually sold only 80% of the weight. He may tell the customer it is 100%. He may tell the customer it is 1 kg. He may write in the bill 1 kg. but actual sale is 80% and on that he is gaining 20%. So the shopkeeper gives goods, the shopkeeper receives cash. But goods or cash, we will talk in terms of value. Shopkeeper gives 80% of the value and the shopkeeper receives 100% of the value. Value, goods or cash, in kind or cash, money or sugar or rice or Google payment. But the shopkeeper gives 80% and receives 100%. So his gain is 20% and 20% gain on the actual sale of 80%. So 20% gain on the sale of 80%, 20 by 80, that is 1 by 4 and 1 by 4 means 25%. That's the only working that is needed. But we are confusing the student with useless formulas. First, that worthless statement. Suppose he buys 1 kg, but the shopkeeper will only give him 800 grams. So again, cost of 1 kg, cost of 1 gram, cost of 800 grams, then SP how much, CP how much, SP minus CP, then gain by CP, then into 100%. You are confusing the student. They don't need this. So all these worthless formulas, 90% of the students will get it wrong and the remaining 10% who by coincidence they get it right, by a chance, by a miracle they get it right. They will be taking 10 minutes. Actually, they should take only 5 seconds and actually only 1 second. For the students, we give 5 seconds. So, this is the way it should be taught, and with useless formulas and statements we are teaching, and we are saying mathphobia, we are creating mathphobia. It's not mathphobia inherent. It's neither in math nor in the student. It is the way in which we teach. We create the mathphobia by useless formulas, useless statements, confusing methods, when a simple core concept visualization would make it easy. A 1 second task, we are making it a 10-minute task. So that's the way we create mathphobia. Shame on the education system which tortures the students with useless formulas, worthless statements and unnecessary confusing methods to make the simple thing more complicated. Education was supposed to make complicated things simple and we are doing the opposite. So in the name of structuring, we are fragmenting. In the name of organizing, we are confusing. In the name of core concept, we are asking them to memorize worthless formulas, useless statements and confusing methods. So who is to blame? Worthless education ministers who do not know what education is. Worthless education boards which are commercial and political and not educational. And stupid and silly authors, all they do is copy and paste formulas from one book to another book. It's not your child that is incapable. It's not math that is abstruse. It is our pedagogy. Right teaching methodology makes math easy, but a wrong pedagogy creates math phobia. So emphasize on core concept, not on rote memorizing worthless and useless formulas and statements.